Have you ever been watching an American sitcom and you realize you don't quite understand everything and you're not quite sure why? Well, there could be a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons could be phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs can be tricky to understand and then to know how to use, and when you're watching them, to know really what the person is trying to say. So I'm glad you've joined me today as I share a few more of these phrasal verbs with you and hopefully give you a few specific situations that you could actually use them in any conversation that you're in. I'm Phil. I teach English here at majak, and I'm glad you've joined me as I share a few of these phrasal verbs that I teach with my own students here in the Czech Republic. Okay, let's get started. The first one I have for you is mix up. Mix up. It means to spoil the arrangement or the organization of a collection of things. To spoil the arrangement or the organization of a collection of things. And many of you probably have used the phrasal verb mix up in your own conversations, right? You can say, the papers got all mixed up when they fell from the table. The papers got all mixed up when they fell from the table. Another way to use mix up is to confuse something or someone with another something or someone. So, I always get him mixed up with his brother. I always get him mixed up with his brother. I can't remember which one is which, and I confuse the two, so I mix them up. Let's add another preposition to that one. Now we have mixed up in. Mixed up in. Mixed up in means to cause someone to be involved in something, and usually it's bad, illegal, or dangerous, somehow negative action or behavior. So this one often has a negative connotation just because of the definition. He had some bad friends, so he got mixed up in drugs and some other bad things. He got mixed up in drugs. They somehow became involved in his life and he became involved in them. So if you hear somebody talking about getting mixed up in something, it often has a negative meaning or connotation. Even if the thing that they're talking about seems fun or funny, it usually goes to the negative. So if someone's mixed up in something, probably it has a negative meaning. Mouth off. Mouth off. So this is to talk in an unpleasantly loud, boastful, or opinionated way. Loud, boastful, or opinionated, and inappropriately, unpleasantly this way. You can say, what was that guy talking about? I don't know. He was just mouthing off about how bad society is and how bad the laws are. He was just mouthing off about these things. It means he was just talking really opinionated, really unpleasant about something that he viewed as negative. Move in. Move in means to go and take possession of a new house or a new living space. I painted the whole house white when I first moved in. I painted the whole house white when I first moved in. When I first came and took possession of it as mine. It could also mean to intervene, either in an attack or somehow to take control. But it isn't always negative. So we could say, food was scarce before the soldiers moved in to rescue the residents. So the soldiers are the ones that moved in, but not as an attack, but in this case, to take control, to help. Food was not scarce anymore after the soldiers moved in. So in some cases, it could be very negative if soldiers moved in or this force moved in, but it could also be just a situation where someone needs to move in to take control and make things better again, make things contained somehow. But it does mean somehow to intervene, to go into some other business and take control. Next we have move in on. Move in on. It means to approach something or someone, especially to take action there. Especially to take action if you move in on someone or something. So you could hear on the news, the police moved in on the suspect to apprehend him, to take him. The police moved in on him. It means they approached him in order to take action, to bring him back. Move out, to leave the place you've lived or work in order to go someplace else. Obvious, right? Somebody might have a roommate, and they might say, hey, if you don't like it here, if you don't like the way that I operate, then you can just move out. If you don't like it, you can just move out. It means you can not be living here anymore, but you can just find somewhere else to live. I hope in your life, in your situations, that you might have a little bit more grace than just to say, if you don't like it, you can move out. Hopefully we have ways to compromise, especially the deeper the relationships that we have. We hope that we can compromise a little bit with the people around us. But sometimes there are places and times to say, if you don't like it, you can move out. The next one is a fun one because it has a word that's kind of fun to say, muddle through, muddle through. If you muddle through something, it means to cope, to deal with things in a way that's satisfactory, even though you know you don't have the expertise to do it really well. But you're just trying, you're dealing with everything in an okay way, but you know it's not the best way, but you don't have the ability to do it any better. At least you don't feel like you do. And this might mean you don't have the expertise, you don't have the planning, you don't have equipment. It could be a lot of things that you don't have, but there's something you don't have to do it really, really well. I know people that have maybe a bad work situation, and they say, I don't have a lot of help and support from my superiors. They're not giving me a lot of feedback. So for the time being, I'm just muddling through. For the time being, I'm just muddling through. I'm dealing with how to do this job the best I can, but I could definitely use more help, more feedback, many things, but they don't have it. So right now, they're just muddling through. The next one is muscle in on. Muscle in on. So this is when somebody uses force or influence in an unwanted way to sort of take control of something for their own selfish reasons. For example, you have somebody with a nice used car business here, right? They're doing fine, they're minding their own business, and then there's another bigger car company, and we can say, that company's here to muscle in on my own business. They're here to muscle in on my territory, my business. They're probably a little bigger, they have more muscle in the used car world, and they will probably try to take over and be stronger than this smaller company. They're trying to muscle in on them, muscle in on their territory. And finally today, mull over, mull over. Let's take a second with pronunciation, mull. It's a really strange way to pronounce this, but mull over, mull over. And this just means to think and consider a certain proposal and take your time with it. Take your time thinking about the pros and the cons of something. It's really similar to consider. You can consider something or you can mull it over. Mull it over. In fast, we would say mull it over. Maybe somebody is a slow decision maker. So they'd say, I just need time to mull things over before I make a decision. I just need time to mull things over before I make a decision. Thanks for joining me today. Let me know if these videos are helping you, if they're giving you any extra hope and help on your English journey. If there's another way that I can help you or another set of videos that I could make to make things a little more clear for you, I'd love to help. Thanks for joining me and catch you next time. Bye.